Hello everyone, welcome to the Cherry Heart podcast. This is episode number 62 and this is a crafting, making podcast featuring crochet, knitting, sewing and a few other crafty bits and bobs. I'm Sandra and you can find the show notes for this podcast with links to the things I talk about and some pictures on my blog, which is cherryheart.co.uk. You can find me on Instagram under Sandra Cherry HRT and elsewhere on the web as Cherry Heart. We've also got a Ravelry group, well, I was going to say for the podcast, but actually it's just a Ravelry group generally, really, and that's Cherry Heart's Cozy Corner. I think that's it. I've got a few sort of podmin, well, not really podmin things, I suppose. It's like a giveaway, and I thought we'd have a little bit of a new section, which I'm going to call Pod Mail. So that's, I've had a few questions lately, which would be good to answer on the podcast. I was going to say blog. Yeah, they'd be good to answer on the podcast. So I thought we'd chat about those, or at least one of them, depending, time permitting. We'll see how it goes. But I haven't got an awful lot of making things to show you really, just a few, so... Oh, actually, before I get into that as well, there was one more thing. The last episode. So first of all, thank you ever so much for all your lovely comments and everything. Very much appreciated. But my dark star, as I called it, the shawl, I'll pop a picture in so you know what I'm talking about rather than attempting to explain it, but the dark blue shawl that I was saying was maybe a bit off the wall. I wasn't sure about it. I just got loads of lovely comments about that and lots of really nice feedback about that, so thank you so much for that. Yeah, like I say, I thought perhaps it was one of those ones that's perhaps gone a step too far for you know, to have much appeal on a wide scale. I don't know what I was thinking. I just thought it was a little bit, maybe a bit of an odd idea that wouldn't really go down that well with people, but although I'm sure not everyone liked it, there were a lot of people that did and said so, which I really appreciate, so thank you for that. And you also asked me about the pattern. I must admit I wasn't really planning on it because, as I said, it doesn't, I don't know, maybe it could be, it's just it really isn't yet. It would need some more work, but since I got that one to a state where I was happy with it, at least, even if it wasn't in a sort of state that I could envisage being a pattern, just because, you know, it was quite freestyle at the end there. Yeah, I did like the idea of maybe doing sort of like a more summery, a lighter one. So maybe like if at some point I revisit that shawl idea, which I would like to do, then maybe I'll sort of see if I could make it a bit more pattern worthy at that stage. So if you were interested in it, so thank you first of all, and it's not completely out of the question, but it's not immediate either. So just so we know where we stand on that. Yeah, now I'll start talking about the other stuff. And so what I've made is this. This is what I've finished. I think this is all I've finished. Woo. Chairs with wheels. So dangerous. There we are. Yeah, so I think this is my only FO, my only finished object, I believe. It feels like a long time ago we spoke again now, and I can't remember anything that's happened since, it feels like. Anyway, this was definitely a work in progress last time, and now it has finished because it's a nice and easy one that whips up quickly. It's also what I'm wearing, actually, by coincidence. Yeah, so this is my Linden Bee pattern, and this was the original one I've made, and I've made a couple of cents because actually it's one, I think because it's so quick for a start, And also just the 2-colour shawl thing, I just keep finding combos that I really like. So I was thinking I need to come up with a different 2-colour shawl pattern that I could make. Because I can't keep making a Linden Bees again and again and again. But yeah, I just seem to be finding it hits the spot at the moment as a nice easy make, and it kind of, I like finding the combination. So yeah, anyway, that was a tangent. Let me tell you about the yarn for this one. The yarn I used was a knitting Swede yarn, they both are, which I got at Fibrist several years ago. Just checking that that's actually correct. I think Fibrist. And I can't actually remember the names of the yarn, so that's helpful, isn't it? I think I linked them last time, but this one, let me look them up actually. Okay. So now we know what we're talking about. So this one, the solid one, is Charisma in her Rainforest colourway. I can't remember the exact breakdown. Does it say here? Good Lord, that's Blue Face Leicester. I never would have guessed. It's the softest thing. 55% Blue Face Leicester, 45% silk. That's lovely. And then I've got this one as well, which is like a mohairy one. This is called Angelic and the colour is Lagoon. 72% mohair, 28% lace. No, 28% silk. Yeah, and then I did a sort of mixture of them. I put both of them in the little tassels. I liked how that came out. Yeah. Nothing else to say about that. Yeah, I'm really quite pleased with it though. I think it looks pretty. That's going to be a gift, so hopefully the recipient will like it. So that's the only thing I've finished. That doesn't seem right, does it? Let's check Ravelry. What does Ravelry say? Yeah, that's it. That's the only thing I've finished. And then what I've got on the go at the minute. So the only things I've got on the go at the minute. Well, actually, I have got something on the go at the minute. But it's a secret squirrel and I can't tell you about it, so it's a bit dull, isn't it? Yeah, it's my socks is what I'm scrabbling to get into some kind of order for you here. So these I am making with Quince & Co. Turn is the yarn, and the pattern, the stitch pattern I'm using on the leg is by Lily of Nordic Stitches, and it is, was it Seaweed? I think it was called Seaweed. Yeah, Seaweed. She came out with a collection of little beach shorty socks, and this is the Seaweed one. But I've just modified it so it's got a leg as well, and I'm doing a square heel on these. I should probably put this on a blocker for you, shouldn't I, really? So you can see properly. There we go. Oops. Oh. Have that side showing, shall we? Because it's got the little bunny face on it. Yeah, so there it is. Got my little stitch marker there, which I believe was a Jiggles and Beans one. It wants to hang that way up, you see. He won't sit that way, so you can't see his little face. Behave. Yeah, I think it is. I'll put it down here if I'm wrong. Yeah, so I really like how that's come out actually, and yeah, I really like the solid colour as well. Obviously the stitch pattern shows up beautifully, which is really nice. But yeah, I think these are going to be nice and warm. It's a fingering weight. They say it's a fingering weight, and the yardage seems to come up fingering weight, but I thought felt tip was quite thick, so it feels more like a sport weight, so I'm hoping they'll be pretty warm to wear. But yeah, little square toe there, and then obviously I haven't kitchened yet. And I've got the second one on the go, so that's just a little sort of back burner project to fill in when I haven't got anything else I can get on with. And then my other sort of, I don't know what I was going to say then. My other project that I've got has sort of come out of nowhere really. I've been wanting to do it for a little while, so it's kind of been in the planning for a while, but I think when I finish my weekender jumper, that I think that's what I showed you last time, wasn't it? Why is my brain unable to retain facts? This is ridiculous. Yeah, so once I finished that, I was sort of ready for my next garment project, because this is my year of the garment. 2019 is the year of the garment. You might have heard that it's Chinese year of the pig. That is true. It is also Sandra's year of the garment. Shut up, get on with it. Yeah, so this cardigan, this thing I'm making is a cardigan. And I got quite far with it already. I only started this on Saturday. It's whizzing up like crazy. So I've done my back panel, and I've done my 2 front panels and popped them on ready. This is a pattern by Iron Lamb, at least that's what she is on Instagram. Let's see. Sorry to have to keep referring, I'm just so useless, aren't I? Oh, that's, yeah, that's what it comes up as on Ravelry. So yeah, Macaroni Cardigan by Iron Lamb. And it's an Aran or worsted weight. So it's coming up really, really quick. So I've done that bit. And I've also done, a sleeve. So that's a sleeve, as I just said, so you already know that, as written in the pattern, but I think I'm going to have to make mine longer. I haven't had a proper try on yet though, so I need to do that. But I've also done the next sleeve, and I have already made that a bit longer. I was just sort of holding it up while I was sitting there because I couldn't be able to get up and try it all on properly, and I thought this would be more the length I need. If not, I'll just have to rip back, but it's so quick, I don't mind. Yeah, so I think that's probably more the length I'll need to go for. Just had to add a bit more on there. Actually, I've added loads on there, haven't I? I've gone mad. Oh well. A little bit later I'll have a try and see, because I might even be able to finish this tonight. Yeah, so I've just got to finish the sleeves, get those sewn in, and I've got to do, you know, sort out the fronts, do like a neckband thing. I think that's all there is to do. But yeah, that's a really fun project because it's just whizzing along like crazy. So the yarn I'm using is this one, which is the Genie yarn by Stylecraft, which is obviously Aran weight, so it fits the pattern. So I was thinking of either this, well, my first thought was that I wanted to use the linen drape, because when we first saw that, when was it we went up there and saw that? It might have been this time last year actually, I can't remember. It was a little while ago now anyway. But I thought it would be really nice for a cardigan, and I saw this and I think this pattern would suit it really well, but that yarn is a DK weight yarn, whereas this is for an Aran weight pattern. So I did do a little sort of swatch to see how it would come out, to see if I could get it like anywhere near, and it wasn't really, but I didn't want to go like too huge with the I didn't want to go too huge with the hook, because it's quite sort of open anyway, the pattern. So if you sort of, you know, when the yarn is getting really loose and open with just other stitches as well, it just didn't look right anyway. Basically it just looked too messy. So I could have kept to a gauge that looked reasonable and tried to make a larger size, but even then, even if the stitch count from a larger size was right, you'd have to sort of rejig the rows, wouldn't you, and sort of the increases, and I thought, well, that's just far too much work. Why? I have done that sort of thing before, and It's typical me to have to make life difficult for myself, but I thought, no, I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to stick to making life easy to myself. And I remembered I had a couple of balls of the genie, so I tried sampling up that, and it was much better, and just, this is going to be so much easier. I can just stick to the pattern then and not have to worry. So that appealed much more. So yeah, so I went for this colour, which is Memphis, which is 9350, because I thought it was a nice sort of mid colour. I really like the navy. That was my first thought, but I have got a few navy cardigans, so I thought that would be less useful. And the same with sort of, well, most of the other colours that I liked. There's white, but I've got white cardigans. There's grey, but I've got grey cardigans. So I thought this would be a nice sort of mid colour, but still go with a lot of things, I think. But yeah. So it's a strange yarn, this, I think. So it's 60% cotton. I didn't realise it had that much cotton. Yeah, 60% cotton, but 40% premium acrylic. Aran weight, 230 yards to, I assume this is 100 grams. Yeah. But when it came, I don't remember, or even when I did the swatch with something I had as well, I don't remember it being quite so, I'm not sure of the word. It's almost a tiny bit like a kind of chenille yarn almost. I don't know if you can sort of see on the camera or from how it looks. I don't know, does it look like it? But it's almost sort of like, furry is the wrong word, but like velvety almost, I guess. Velour tracksuits is what I've decided it actually reminds me of. I was saying on Instagram that it sort of reminds me a bit of Biff Tannen. I'm sure he wears this kind of velour-y tracksuit or a top at some point. I think when he sort of, it's like later. I thought anyway that it was later at the end once Marty's like come back from the future and like he's changed it, and I thought he was running around in a tracksuit that was sort of velour-y, but I don't think he is. But I'm sure he wears some sort of velour-y thing at some point. Anyway, tangent. Yeah, so I do think it's just got a little bit of a velour-y, chenille-y, velvety, just kind of feel to it, which is interesting. It's ever so nice and soft. It's lovely. It works up nicely. Quite nice to use. Just I don't remember it having that kind of texture to it quite. But you know, it's good. It seems to be working. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to work out well. So yeah, so I'm really happy with that. And yeah, I'm amazed how quickly that's coming together. The pattern is lovely, really easy to follow, nicely laid out, nice and clear. Yeah, would recommend. Would recommend. The only modification I did make so far, apart from obviously I might have to lengthen the sleeves slightly, it's just at the bottom the starting chain was a different count to sort of the rest, and you sort of increase to get the right stitch count. And I just found that didn't particularly work for me. I don't know if that's something to do with my gauge, but I just ended up modifying the starting chain so it worked with the stitch count without doing the increases. I just found it laid better. I could have blocked it, I suppose, but there's quite a lot of acrylic in this, and yeah, it seemed to sit nicely when I did it like that, so I just went with it. But yeah, really happy with that. And I think that's all I've got to show you. Like I say, my other project is a bit of a secret squirrel. I've got some ideas of other things I want to make, but I guess I'll show them to you when they come about, because you know what it's like with these ideas. You have 100 ideas and you can't really make 100 things at once, so by necessity many ideas must fall by the wayside. Many ideas fall on rocky ground. Shut up, shut up. Okay, enough gibberish, moving on. So what was my next section? I'm not going to talk about pips, that's patterns in progress this week, because not a lot more than to report. Just my two Getting Ziggy ones, and they are progressing. That's it. That's the only thing to say about that. Yes, so let's do the giveaway first. Let's do the Podmin, the giveaway. So I've been meaning to do a giveaway for a little while, just because why not? I think because I hit like 10,000 subscribers around Christmas time, before, after, I don't know. So I thought that's a good excuse to have a giveaway, isn't it? And also I've got some patterns to give away. And then somebody commented, who was it? Let me find out actually. Melanie E left a comment on YouTube saying, how many hand knit socks do I have? And that would make a good giveaway question, which it would, which is great, because I hadn't thought of anything. So we're going to use that. So the giveaway is going to be for, I've got 2 patterns. I may have a third, but I need to check on that before I tell you. So the lovely Jen Sheelan, who is a knitter, has given us 2 patterns. So let me just get the right names of them. So I've got a copy of the Rustic Elegance shawl. That's really pretty actually. She's got a 2-colour shawl in 4-ply. So I've got a copy of that to give away. I'll pop a picture in so you can see. So that's really nice. And then, and this is another 2-colour one as well. So I'm like, oh no, I think she's got 3 colours in this. Yeah, she has. She's got 3 colours in this. So yeah, this is another fingering weight shawl. I'll put the picture in. Which is called Your Favourite Brew shawl. So thank you very much, Jen, for those. That's very much appreciated. So those will be the prizes, and possibly one other if I get my act together and actually sort that out. Yes, so I need you to go into Ravelry, or well, rather not I need you to, but just if you want to enter, this is what you can do. So go to Ravelry, go to the group, and I'll open a thread, and just guess how many hand knit socks you think that I have. So this is hand knit socks that I have kept and that I use at this time currently for myself. So I won't include gifts that I've given to other people. I won't include any that I've made and no longer wear, which doesn't count many of them. I think I got a massive hole in a pair, and maybe, but anyway, yeah, so that's the socks. Like if I filled my drawer, I've got a drawer with my hand knit socks in, and if they were all in there at the same time, how many would there be? That's my question. So it's a bit tricky. You could sort of do a bit of ferreting around and, you know, see what you could find to give you some more help with that. But I have been knitting socks now for a few years. So yeah, have a guess. I found out what the answer is. So I know. So yeah, we'll see. If no one gets it exactly, obviously I'll just go with the, you know, next nearest, or if loads of people get it, I'll just draw and we'll do it that way. But yeah, but you do go on to Ravelry to enter. It's just so much easier to let you guys know when you've won then, because I've got all your Ravelry names and I can just contact you, and yeah. So that's that. That's the giveaway. And then my other section, my pod mail section. So I've had a couple of questions, and I've also got a thread on Ravelry which I'll relabel pod mail. So yeah, if you've got a question and you'd like it answered on the podcast, then pop it in there. I mean, you could pop it in the YouTube comments as well, just say, oh, I've got a pod mail question for you. Yeah, and I will, I'm going to try and keep track of those, and then, you know, if some come up that might be interesting, I thought I'd share them on here. So the first question that I'm going to talk about is from Karen M. This was on YouTube, and it was about my sewing machine cover. So I'm just going to grab it for you. So here it is. Yeah, where do I begin? I made this quite a long time ago. Very long time ago actually. I put it on the blog at the time, many years ago. But yes, I just wanted a cover for my sewing machine, and I had, I've started collecting for a long time my daughter's clothes when she's sort of grown out of them, and these were from when she was very young. And if they were sort of a nice cotton or a nice pattern, I would sort of put them to the side and you know, sort of take whatever useful fabric was left I would keep. So this is basically made from those fabric supplies. So these were all different, well, apart from that one actually, that's not, these two aren't. But these, all these others are various dresses or blouses or whatnot that she used to wear when she was a little, well, kind of toddlerish. Most of these come from, so about the sort of, you know, 3 or 4 kind of range. Yeah, so basically, as you can tell, I just, so I hand pieced this, just cut out loads of hexagons, various different sorts, and kept piecing them together. So I made it by making a long, no, let's see if I can explain it. So I made this sort of long strip, sort of up to about here, and then I just kept going round and round and round. So I had a big long strip, and then I made it into a circle and joined it. So this was all in a big sort of loop like this. And then these ones over the top, I actually joined on. So I kept adding them and joining them over the top. So what I had was, if you sew, you know, like when you make a box bottom and you have the little square shapes out the corner. So I made it all, I made it into that shape with just the hand sewing, because obviously the hexagons wouldn't, I couldn't completely make them into a sort of a rectangle shape. So I had a big loop round like that, and these looped over at the top, and then I had a hole in the corners, and then I just sewed up those holes, so that's where the sort of little points all got folded in, and I just sewed across there. So that worked well, and I popped a little lining in, just basic white cotton, made a little box on that to meet, and then I had this little bit of binding to put around the edge. Now this is where it all went wrong. Now bearing in mind I made this absolutely years ago as well, you will see there's a big bit here where I haven't finished it properly. Now I did finish it at the time, so I made this bit of binding, sewed it all on, finished it all, went to put it on my sewing machine cover, and it didn't quite fit. It fit before I put the binding on, but it didn't fit nicely. It fit before, and then I put the binding on, and it was just, didn't really quite fit over the end. It would just about do it if I really rammed it down over it, but it wasn't great. So what I did, it used to annoy me, see, I'd sort of go, oh, this still don't fit, this is not working. So I just unpicked a bit, intending to come back and finish it later. But I unpicked a bit and then it sort of fit over, and I thought, oh great, that's fine, that's fixed that. I'll sort that out later, I'll come back and sew it. But as you see, I haven't. And now this seam has started to come undone here as well. That sort of worked its way open. And yeah, I think I must have just, I don't know what I did. I guess my binding bit of fabric, judging by this, even if that closed up, my binding bit of fabric isn't really quite long enough, I don't think. This would need to be here, wouldn't it, if that was back on there. That was fine. So it should be though, it does meet, it should work. But I think the lining and the outer, maybe it was the lining that wasn't quite right actually. Either way, it wasn't quite right. And yeah, I should really sort that out, shouldn't I? Even if I sort of just tidied the lining in this slightly, I sewed that down, tidied it. So I'd need a bit more binding though, wouldn't I, to cover up the gap. Maybe that's why I never fixed it. Maybe I went to fix it and thought, oh no, what a nightmare. Yeah, so that's how it stays. And then the only other section I would normally do is my incoming goodies. But I don't actually have any. No, I'm on a bit of a, what's the word? Not stash ban, but you know. I'm just restraining myself for a bit. Yeah, you know, I've just, I'm alright for a bit. And I think just having it all out and tidying it all and looking at what I've got, it's just reminded me of how many lovely ones that I've got sitting there just waiting to be used. I really don't need to add to that at the minute. I just don't feel the urge to add to it at the minute, so that's good. I almost feel last sort of week or so I've been thinking maybe I could go the whole year and just knit from stash or crochet from stash. I know I couldn't. Let's be realistic, that's not really going to happen, and also because it's my year of the garment. So although you can kind of mix and match different colours and kind of create nice harmonies sometimes with garments, you can't make every garment like that. Sometimes you just need more of one colour, don't you? And I've got some ideas for things that would be one colour too. So I'll definitely allow myself to buy stash to for garment ideas that I've got or I want to do. But yeah, it would be kind of nice if I could just do that. If I could just take, because there's so many single skeins. Yeah. It's an idea. I guess unless I'm sort of particularly decide on it, it definitely won't happen. But I do quite like the idea of seeing certainly how far I can go with that, how much I can do that. I think I'd like to sort of make a concerted effort towards doing more than that. Not that I want to rule out buying any, because like I say, I'm sure I will see things that I will want. But it's yarn festivals that are my major downfall lately. So yeah, don't know how I'm going to do with that. But I was planning to go to Unravel, so that would have been my first sort of real temptation kind of thing in my path, but something's come up now and I'm not sure I'm going to go. And although that's sort of really disappointing, I can't help feeling a little bit of relief as well, because then I just don't need to sort of see all the things that I know I'd see, and which is a weird feeling. I'm not used to it. But yeah, maybe I think I just need a bit more time after Christmas as well, you know. There's such excesses, isn't there? I just feel like I need a bit more of a cool off period before I'm ready to enter the world of temptation again. Yeah. So there we are. That's where we are with incoming goodies. Not a lot at the minute, but hopefully that means lots of lovely using stash and using gorgeous, gorgeous yarns that I have, which is a very good thing, I think, when I have so many sitting there. So yeah, that's probably it from me. I hope you are, I was going to say I hope you're doing okay, but I should have asked you that earlier, shouldn't I? Are you doing okay? I hope you're doing okay. Anyway, this is just waffle, isn't it? But I do hope you have been keeping yourselves well, and I hope you find some lovely crafty time in the next couple of weeks. It's half term here next week, but the podcast wouldn't come back until the week after anyway, so that works out quite nicely. And yeah, hopefully I'll get some nice crafty time in half term. I hope you do too, if you are affected by such things as half term, and if yours is next week, because they do vary, don't they? Even down the road they've got a different week than we've got. I'm waffling again. I'm obviously in major waffle mode, so tangents ahoy. Anyway, I shall go. I shall let you go. Enjoy yourselves until we speak again, and I'll see you next time.